Hi, my name is Linda Newen from Study in Australia TV. This is an Ielts native speaking test simulation. Hi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Hope Beale and I've been living in Australia all my life, so I'm really excited to be here today.
Nice to meet you. So, part 1. Tell me about the most important festival in your country.
Well, one of the most important festivals in my country, I would say, is the St Kilda Festival, which is really great because it's a free event and everyone is welcome. So it's not just a 18 plus event. Grandparents are welcome, children are welcome, so many different types of people are welcome, which is brilliant because, you can interact with people that you normally wouldn't see all the time on a daily basis. Because it's such a fun event for everyone, that's why I actually went last year, which was so exciting. And it was brilliant to just go with your friends and you get to see people and you get to meet people and you get to hear all this brilliant music. And it's just something that I thought was really, really important, and it was definitely my favourite festival. So,
What special foods and activities connected you with the festival?
Oh, that's a really great question. So there were so many different foods at this festival. There's such a great variety, and they had food trucks, which is something that I thought was really, really cool. So they have all these trucks that are all lined up and parked next to each other, and you can pick and choose which one you want to go to. So there was one that was selling burgers, and there was one that was selling tacos, which is great because tacos are my favorite. You just go and you can line up, and there's so many different choices, and while you're in the line, they have little menus on the side that you can choose from, which is great because sometimes you don't really know what you want to do, and then you get up there and you're like, oh, actually I think I feel like some chips maybe, or some tacos. So that's brilliant. So there's so many different food options, as well as there's so many different drink options. There's definitely alcoholic drinks for those that like to have a little bit of a drink and a little bit of a party, and there's also things that people who don't drink can have. So coffees, teas. My grandma came with us last time and she just had green teas the whole day, and they have little styrofoam cups so you can walk around and it's fun. You can have a drink while you're walking and still talking, and so it's just brilliant. And I think that's really great that festivals can have so many different options for food, and it's brilliant. Drinks as well.
What do you enjoy most about it?
Oh, that's a really good question as well. I think for me personally, the thing that I enjoyed the most was the music, and that there were so many different options for music, kind of like food, so many different options. They have different stages that you can go to, so if you're not feeling the vibe on one stage, you can go to the other stage. And if you're someone who really prefers pop music and you like to sing along, you can go to the stage that does that. And if you're someone who kind of likes mellow music, more acoustic, you can go to another stage and listen to more acoustic playing, and it's just really relaxing. So it's definitely for everyone. There's so many different options when it comes to music as well. Like, I feel like I'm kept saying that there's so many options for everything, but there really is. It's a brilliant festival that there's so many things that you can do, and one of the things that personally for me was definitely the music, because I just loved, you'd be sitting on the beach eating your tacos, and then you're listening to music on one ear's like this beautiful, really beautiful guitar playing, and then the other ear's got this really rock going on and the drums are going hard. So it was really brilliant. There's just so many things, and for me, I think that the music was my favourite part.
Do you think festivals are important in your country, and why?
Oh, yes, I definitely do think that festivals are really important. I think that especially here in Australia, because we're such a multicultural country, it's great to have all these different people from all different walks of life come together for the one common cause. And whether that be they were going there for the music, or whether that be that they have small kids that they wanted to bring out and have, a fun day out. And because it's on the beach, it's such a beautiful thing, especially if, it's beautiful weather. You can go out and you can enjoy the beach and go, oh, there's a festival going on over there. I might, go in and have a little pop around, see what's going on, and you can buy some beautiful food, you go to some beautiful places, even if you just wanted to go out for lunch and you think, I think that this is such a thing that Australia is so known for, that you can meet all these different types of people, and you go to these multicultural events that are always happening, and I think that festivals are really important for that and bringing communities together, especially in places like that have high population density, which Melbourne is one of those places. And you see, I feel like you see people all the time walking around, but you don't really get to interact with them. Whereas festivals are a great way for you to interact with different types of people, and people that you normally wouldn't start a conversation with. At festivals, it's a great place to, try that out. So I think they're very important.
Now we move on to part 2. Describe a film or television program which has made a strong impression on you. You should say what kind of film or television program it was, when you saw the film or television program, and what the film or television program was about, and explain why this film or television program made such an impression on you. Alright, 1 minute is up. Thank you. Alright. Please describe your film.
Okay, so the film that I picked was actually The Hunger Games, which some people might think is a pretty basic choice, but I have a very significant reason for choosing this particular film. So I don't know if you're familiar with The Hunger Games, but it's a genre that's more of a fantasy dystopian world, and it's got, children who have to go and fight in this big arena, and it was just something that I'd never seen before and something that was so different from anything else that was kind of out there at the time. And I actually remember going to see this movie in gold class, and that's why it was so special to me, because it was the first movie I ever saw in gold class. And if you don't know what gold class is, it's where you can sit in these big recliner seats and you get food and drinks brought to you, and I felt very fancy. And this is back, it was actually on my birthday, the day that this came out, so it was my birthday present to myself, and it was just so much fun going out and seeing this really, really cool movie I'd never seen anything like before, as well as doing it in comfort and luxury, and it was just so much fun. So that's why I've kind of picked The Hunger Games. And so yeah, because it was more of a fantasy genre, which is something that I really, really love, I think that it was just something that I related to, and because they were teenagers in the film, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. I was a teenager at the time. I was like, oh, maybe this is what my life could be like, and something that I just thought was so different and so amazingly unique in terms of movies and things that I'd never seen. And I just thought that when I was there with all my friends and we were giggling together, and we'd all read the books previously at school, and we were giggling together and having such a good time, that it just had a really significant impact for me, and it was something that I really remembered, because I've seen a lot of movies, and this one in particular stood out to me just because it was something that I shared with all of my friends, and something that was really special, and a moment that I thought, oh, this is really cool, this is something that I could really, really see myself looking back on years from now and thinking, I remember that movie, and I remember that experience seeing that movie as well. So that's why I picked The Hunger Games. Definitely, if you haven't seen it, definitely give it a watch, but I really liked it.
Now we move on to part 3. Do you think cinema has decreased or increased in popularity over the years?
Ooh, I think that I would say it has decreased in popularity just because there are so many streaming sites available nowadays, and I think with Netflix, people prefer to kind of sit in their own house and watch movies from the comfort of their own room. So I think that people think going to the cinema is a little bit more inconvenient, a little bit more time consuming, and you have to also pay a lot more to go to the cinemas. And of course, when you go to the cinemas, you can't just go to the cinemas. You have to go and get some popcorn or get some refreshments and things like that. So it does end up being a lot more expensive going out just to see one movie than it would be to just easily stay home. You can watch as many movies as you want from the comfort of your own couch. You can make your own food at your own house. So I think that cinemas definitely have been decreasing in popularity of later years.
In your opinion, do you think this trend will continue in the future?
I think that I would say yes, sadly. I do think that cinemas are becoming a little bit more of what you would call something that you do once in a while. I think that people aren't opting to go to the cinemas as often as they would have maybe a few years ago, just because there are so many streaming sites. Like I said, there's Netflix, there's Stan, there's Disney Plus now, and I'm sure that there'll be more coming up in the future. And I think that it's so much easier just to sit at home and not have to worry about planning to go to the cinema or calling ahead, making sure there are seats available, making sure there's a movie that you want to view that's actually showing. So I do think that sadly, in years to come, that the cinemas might not be as popular, and that the trend is definitely increasing in terms of people aren't wanting to go out and wanting to, get dressed up and make sure they look nice because they're going out in public. And I think that because of all of those factors, that the cinemas definitely are depleting in terms of numbers.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of making films based on real life events?
That's a really, really big question. I think that the advantages of making films that are based off real life events is that you obviously have the storyline already laid out for you. You don't have to think too hardly about what this character's going to do or what that character's going to do, because it's already happened in real life. So you can just base the events that have happened into the film, and then all you really need to worry about in terms of story is just making sure that you get the right people for the job. So I think that the advantages of that is that the audience can really connect to those characters, because they know that they bring it into the world a little bit more. They think, oh my goodness, like you're not just watching a show, you're actually watching people who really have gone through these events in real life. It's based off actual events that have happened. Whereas I think that the disadvantages of basing it off real life can also be very similar in that aspect, that there will be audience members who will think, I know that this is a real life event that actually happened, and I know that the character wasn't really like that, or that this part of the event was overplayed, or this was over exaggerated, this was under exaggerated. And so there'll always be people who will compare the real life event to the film, which might make it a little bit more difficult to make a film more meaningful to some people, just because they're always thinking in the back of their mind, oh, this actually didn't really happen that way in real life. So I think that that's a really big question, and there are lots of advantages and disadvantages to basing films off real life events.
How important do you think it is for a filmmaker to remain true to the original story?
Ooh, another really, really big question. I think that it is really important for filmmakers to stay true to their vision of the movie and for their films to reflect what they want to get out of it. I think that there is only so much that feedback can influence a filmmaker's decision. If they have a clear vision of what they want and what they want to achieve, then I definitely think that they should stay true to that, and they should do everything in their power to ensure that they come up with a product that they're really, really happy with, and that they could see themselves being, yes, that was my vision, that's what I wanted to come out of this. There are these things called pre-screenings, which is where a film is shown to a select group of people who are then offered to give their feedback to the filmmakers, and then they can take those feedbacks on board and maybe change the film or tweak little things that maybe didn't work as well as they'd hoped. And so I think that filmmakers definitely, there is a place for feedback, and there is a place for thinking, oh, there's a different approach to this, or maybe looking at it in a different light, or having a new pair of eyes look at it and say, hey, maybe we should try this. And if the filmmaker is happy with that, and if that coincides with what they could see for their project, I think that that's a great thing to make sure that people are getting the best product as they can. But if a filmmaker is really set and really thinking, regardless of feedback, this is what I want to do, then I think that's really important for them to stay true to themselves and stay true to what they want for their project, because at the end of the day, it's something that they're making and that they're creating. And because it is for other people to consume, it's a really, really tough spot. But I think that if filmmakers are staying true to what they believe, then the film is just going to be a lot better for it.
Should film and television shows be censored, or should we be free to choose what we see?
In my personal belief, I believe that films and television should be censored, just because I think that there is a place, or there should be in place, someone monitoring who is viewing what. And that's not saying that I don't want people to be able to choose what they want to see. I just think that things that are, maybe R-rated or X-rated, I don't think that children should be able to have access to things like that. Just because you don't know what that's going to do on their brains are still developing, and things that may be triggering to some people may not be triggering to other people. And if no one's monitoring that, or if no one's censoring that, then it can become a really, really big problem. So I think that there definitely is a place for censorship, and it's my personal belief that there should be censorship. But in saying that, of course, I don't believe that people should be restricted in every aspect of that way. I think that things that maybe shouldn't be restricted, things PG and G rated, that everyone should be able to view. But at the moment, as it stands, that censorship does allow that. So I think that censorship definitely plays a really important role in film and television, and it's just my personal belief that censorship does need to continue.
Do you think censorship will change in the next 20 years?
I definitely do think that censorship is already changing, and in the next few years we'll definitely have a sense of change to it. There's definitely a push at the moment for people to be able to freely view and consume what they want to, and whether that be, people wanting to view things that would previously not be available in their country, or things that would previously not be available to their specific age group. There's definitely been a push in the recent years for that to change. So I think that I can personally see the change already happening, and that in the next few years there will definitely be a change in this kind of a trend, just because people want to be able to easily access things that they wouldn't be able to, which I do understand and I do agree with. I just think that the censorship is there for a reason, and that the reason that it's put in place is not as a way to restrict you from accessing things that you would like to access. It is there to protect you. So I think that it's really important that people understand that there are two sides to the coin, and that while I think there will be a change, hopefully the change can be something that everyone can agree on and that will protect everyone as well as let everyone access what they want to access.
This concludes the Ielts native speaking test simulation. Thank you.
Thank you.